What's up, everybody? Hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving. Thanks for coming back to this marketing training. Today, we're going to talk about how to send a newsletter out that actually gets opened and clicked and get engagement. That we've been doing, like sending out millions of these over the years. So you can go to getvyral.com/classroom to kind of see where we're at in the course. So if you go to getvyral.com/classroom, we have a whole bunch of material that has kind of led up to this point as we kind of finish out the year. Go check that out. And the whole syllabus is there. With that, let's talk about how to create a really good newsletter. Let me go over my key points. Let's break down an email. So here's the deal. I was actually playing around with this. One of the nice things with class is, usually a couple of weeks leading up to class, I take a look at, our client emails and I take a look at what I want to do. And I just kind of go around and play around, like knowing my marketing skill. How would I update things, like based upon how things work and what's working, what's not working? So this is a template that I've been playing around with my wife. And this is going to be the new recommended template structure at Vyral Marketing going forward. So I have a few changes in here based upon some of the empirical evidence, what works, what doesn't work, and just some trends in design and whatnot. That this is how we're going to update how your emails go out going forward. So let's go through it. We have an email marketing account. We have all your emails loaded up. We have DKIM and SPF. Remember this? DKIM. SPF authentication step. So all your emails are loaded in here. So we're ready to go. We have your video. We have the video on the blog. So here's the very first thing at the very top is that we want a masthead. All right. So the masthead is going to be your graphic here at the very top. And there's lots of pros and cons of how ways you can do this. If I had my things I would look for in an email masthead, I would look for logos of credibility. I would look for some really nice pictures in the background, really strong creative standards of pictures in the background, probably your logo, maybe your photo, and maybe some type of unique selling proposition of like what makes you different than everyone else. And we have the most Better Business Bureau reviews in Omaha in our market that we're in. So I have that up there. But just a really strong masthead. And this is something we talked about in the creative standards of having good colors, having a good color scheme, using a service like Adobe Color to find out what colors you want to use. What are your fonts? We just want a nice masthead that when someone loads this, it's basically like, oh, you're credible, you're professional, and I kind of have an idea of what it is that you do. That's important. When I open the email, oh, these people are in real estate, they look credible, and they buy houses. And I'm able to infer that information very quickly right in the masthead. If I can't, then the masthead can probably be, strengthened in some way. So I know exactly what you're talking about. Now, here's a little other thing too. You want to make sure that there's no alt text in the masthead. This is very important. Alt text is the little text that loads for basically the blind. If the graphic, it's an old thing for the internet of if the image doesn't load. Make sure there isn't any, because what happens is this alt text here, whatever you have here, sucks into the preview line on Gmail, and it looks really amateurish. So it's very important when you create the email, there isn't any alt text in this, because this text, wherever you have here, if it's some gobbledygook or whatever, shows up in the preview line when you send the email out, because it's the very first text in the entire email. So make sure there isn't any. So that's all I really have in the masthead. Now, right below the masthead, we have the headline. This is the headline of your video. This is like the most important thing. We talked about how important the title of your video was. The title of your video, of all this work that you put in here, goes right here. It's the title of your video or your blog post, right? Whatever the most important thing is. So it's going to be a question. How do I sell my home for the most amount of money? It could be, in this case, hey, here's a story about a seller of the smoky house. This is what I called it, right? But this is key. This is the headline. You nail this, you get a great click-through rate. You don't nail this, you have a bad click-through rate. It's all about creating an interesting headline that the consumer actually wants to learn more about. And we spent a whole lesson on this previous in the class. You just copy and paste it, and you put the headline right here. That's for your video. Here. This is going to be the thumbnail of your video. Remember we talked about recording a video, you kind of like figure out what your thumbnail is, and then we make it look really nice and it goes on YouTube. This is where we put the thumbnail of your video. We just grab the image, we put it right here. And what we do is we link that thumbnail. We put a little fake play button over it. So when someone clicks this, it goes right back to your blog. So whatever your blog link is, blog.whatever.com or, homes, yourname.com/whatever the link to where that specific blog post is. When they click this just drives them right back to your blog site to watch the video. So the whole goal is hopefully they just click right here. Now, the reality is I don't think a lot of people are going to go to your website and opt in. That's just not really how the world works. But the goal is if the client goes there and puts people on the email list that way, and the agents on the team go there to put people on the email list that way.